In every Pokemon game, there is always a version of Team Rocket. Some team that is, or at least appears to be, willing to use dastardly means to accomplish their goals. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Team Star takes over this role. They consist mainly of defiant students who are rebelling against your game's academy. Prior to the events of the game, Cassiopeia and their friends came together to form Team Star with the shared goal of standing up against the persistent bullying they faced from their peers at the academy. Where are the faculty when all this bullying is happening? It seems like they were standing there in their fields trying to find a crap to give, but they just never materialized. Cassiopeia's friend Aerie taught the group how to engage in Pokemon battles, using her skills to help their Pokemon evolve and become formidable fighters. Additionally, Ortega created customized river rooms called Starmobiles that served as platforms for Pokemon battles and could also be used for combat if necessary. With all the preparations in place, Team Star confronted their bullies and declared war against them, determined to fight back and put an end to the mistreatment they had endured. From a story perspective, I agree that this fits in with the rest of what's going on, even though I think it's really not that well executed. Don't get me wrong, I really appreciated Game Freak's novel approach to the Team Star battles, but their underlying motivations leave something to be desired. The problem is that the very premise of the team is that they're only quote-unquote bad because they were bullied. Were it not for those bullies, they would have never trodden the path that they took. One could argue that the tremendous progress and strength that they achieved was only because of said bullies. Please don't assume that this means I am in any way condoning bullying. It's obviously not okay. The observation is that adversity, struggle, and hardship force us to grow and improve in order to overcome life's difficulties, which is exactly what happened with Team Star. The trope of villains being created by their surrounding circumstances seems to be heavily used in today's media. We can see it in movies like Wonder Woman 1984, The Incredibles, The Grinch, Maleficent, and Megamind. I could go on, but I think I've proven my point. To me, this trope feels overused and uninspired. It's a way to easily fit a plot piece in the story without having to think too much. It often paints a simplistic picture of cause and effect, which can make the story feel one-dimensional and lacking in complexity. It also reinforces negative stereotypes about people who are bullied. It suggests that victims of bullying are inherently weak, or that they are more likely to become violent or evil, and all they need is a trigger. However, in reality, people become villains for a variety of reasons, and bullying is just one of many possible contributing factors. Focusing solely on bullying can ignore other important factors such as mental illness, societal pressures, or personal ambition. Lastly, it oversimplifies the villain's motivations, which makes them less interesting or compelling as a result. What I miss are the villains who are villains for their own sakes. Like it or not, there are people in this world who do things for selfish reasons, or because they have a deep disdain for humanity. Some of us know this instinctively, while others remain blissfully ignorant in their own naivete. I think you may be thinking that this is just a Pokemon game. There's no need for the game to have, or even try to have, a deeper meaning to the Team Star encounters. Nevertheless, I must disagree. The Pokemon games have had their fair share of villains that could be considered truly evil. I think we may not tend to notice this since Pokemon games are dressed up as kids' games, so they don't feel overwhelmingly dark as we play through them. I would like to discuss some of the other villains in the Pokemon games to illustrate. Let's look at Archie and Maxie of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Both of them wish to use the legendary Pokemon Groudon and Kyogre to reshape the world as they see fit. Maxie wants there to be more land, and his method of accomplishing this is to basically make it so hot that it evaporates all of the water. This, of course, will provide more real estate for humans and Pokemon alike. However, if we play this scenario out for even 5 minutes, we quickly realize that most everything in the oceans will die, and shortly thereafter basically every land dweller will soon die thereafter without ample access to water. Archie, on the other hand, is even more nefarious. He wants to flood the world with as much water as possible. While ocean-dwelling Pokemon will thrive, everyone on land is screwed, and we could expect the human race to become near extinct. I'm not entirely sure what their underlying motivations were for drastically changing Earth's landscape, but my guess is that it might be misplaced benevolence or a deep disdain for humanity. Another villain is Cyrus from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Cyrus has rid himself of all emotion and spirit, and his ultimate goal is to create a world that embodies this same emptiness. He manipulates his followers into committing despicable acts, such as detonating bombs in thriving Pokemon locations, torturing the Lake Guardians to create the Red Chain, and then using it to control Dialga and Palkia. What's even more disturbing is that Cyrus deceives his followers about his true intentions, claiming that he seeks to build a new world where they can thrive together. His true aim is to destroy the existing world and create his own in its place. Ironically, he achieves his wish in the Platinum version of the game by electing to remain in the bleak, lifeless distortion world that he desires. Again, what are Cyrus's motivations? He's selfish. He wants what he wants, and he doesn't care what gets in his way. Getsis is the quintessential evil for evil's sake villain. He's fully aware of his villainy and has no qualms about lying and manipulating anyone to achieve his goals. His most despicable actions occur in Black and White, where he perpetrates a heinous manipulation of N, who is a pure-hearted and fundamentally good character. However, Getsis dupes him into believing in a dream that he has no intention of fulfilling, all for the sake of advancing his own agenda. Getsis's dream of being the sole possessor of Pokémon is truly abhorrent, especially considering that he uses Team Plasma's no Pokémon for anyone philosophy as a smokescreen for his true intentions. Last, let's look at the iconic Giovanni of Team Rocket from Pokémon Red and Blue. He sets an immense standard for the rest of the franchise. He is the leader of Team Rocket, a nefarious organization dedicated to exploiting Pokémon for their own gain. Even before Mewtwo was in the picture, he already had a successful criminal enterprise. He is ruthless, calculating, and unapologetically evil, making him a memorable villain. He uses fear and intimidation to control his followers, and he is not afraid to use violence to achieve his goals. His ultimate plan is to use the power of the legendary Pokémon Mewtwo to take over the world. Again, I understand that the story revolves around the school, and the fact that Team Star is made up of delinquent students fits better in the narrative than an evil villain trying to take over the world. But it still leaves a void that can only be filled by a villain who knows what they want and aren't afraid to go after it. Well everyone, I think that's going to be it for now. If you got any value out of the video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.